There you go. There's some fireworks. For uh, so you can be on your way now if you so choose. Yeah, you came when you saw fireworks. For everybody else, we are going to be doing this a little bit differently tonight. I know normally we kind of take it verse by verse and just talk our way through. Um, it, this is a difficult passage to do that in because there's so much here. I don't want to get too bogged down into the interpretation of this passage because it all kind of goes together and all fits into the same context. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the whole passage. I'm going to give you an overview of 3 views of this passage, and then we're going to talk about kind of our where you guys fall, what you think, some advantages, disadvantages to each view, and then we'll wrap it up and get out of here. So different. Well, I feel like we say different format than usual a lot around here. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like the the diversity of format is the usual format. But that's kind of how we're going to do it tonight. Less line by line, more just overview and different interpretations of it. So we are going to be. Yeah, the link is down there. Thanks, Kess. Can I have a volunteer to read? Well, before we do that, we have a bit of a review here first. What is the context that we've been talking about here? What did we talk about last week? Go ahead, Winged. Winged, Ice Orange, go ahead.
Oh, my mic was muted. Well, that sucked. 2 things we talked about. One was my headache.
We did talk about that.
Secondly, we talked about the idea of Israel, Paul's desire for his people to be saved, and out of that regard, the idea of election towards the nation of Israel, whereas they were God's chosen people, not all of them would come to salvation, which presents the idea of election, which I am looking forward to hearing you talk about.
Oh, you say that now. That's I'm going to take.
Nothing but smiles on this side.
Oh boy. Thanks, by the way, for sticking me with this. So, yeah. So that's what we did talk about. We talked about national election.
I'm here for you. So if you need me, call on me, and I will make a fool of myself. I've already done it once today.
All right. Yes, that was the context last week, kind of national election. Before that, we're in chapter 8, talking about sanctification, process of making us more like God. So that's the context. It's always important to look at the context, which is why we're taking such a large chunk here, so we don't take verses out of context. All right. Just one gentle reminder for tonight, too. We will be using the orange light system, so we won't be talking over each other. So just turn your light orange, and I'll call on you, and you can see what you have to say. So, Winged, your light is still orange.
Yes, I'm waiting for you to call on me so I can read the passage.
Oh, look at that. All right. I hereby call upon thee to read the passage.
All right. All the way through the end of the chapter?
Yeah.
I am Robzer left your channel.
All of it. All right. What shall we say then? Is there injustice on God's part? By no means. For he says to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion. So then it depends not on human will or exertion, but on God who has mercy. For the scripture says to Pharaoh, for this very purpose I have raised you up, that I might show my power in you, and that my name might be proclaimed in all the earth. So, then he has mercy on whomever he wills, and he hardens whomever he wills. You will say to me then, why does he still find fault? For who can resist his will? But who are you, O man, to answer back to God? Will what is molded say to its maker, or to its molder, why have you made me like this? Has the potter no right over the clay to make out of the same lump one vessel for honored use and another for dishonorable use? What if God, desiring to show his wrath and to make known his power, has endured with much patience vessels of wrath prepared for destruction, in order to make known the riches of his glory for vessels of mercy, which he has prepared beforehand for glory, even us whom he has called, not from the Jews, but also from the Gentiles? As indeed he says in Hosea, those who were not my people I will call my people, and her who was not beloved I will call beloved. And in the very place where it was said to them, you are not my people, there they will be called the sons of the living God. And Isaiah cries out concerning Israel, though the number of the sons of Israel be as the sand of the sea, only a remnant of them will be saved. For the Lord will carry out his sentence upon the earth fully and without delay. And as Isaiah predicted, if the Lord of hosts had not left us offspring, we would have been like Sodom and become like Gomorrah. All the way to the end of the chapter?
Yes, please.
Okay, making sure. What shall we say then? The Gentiles who did not pursue righteousness have attained it, that is, a righteousness that is by faith. But that Israel, who pursued a law that would lead to righteousness, did not succeed in reaching that law. Why? Because they did not pursue it by faith, but as if it were based on works. They have stumbled over the stumbling stone, as it is written, behold, I am laying a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, and whoever believes in him will not be put to shame.
Thank you.
Sir?
All right. So, lots going on there. This is the reason why we're taking it in such a big chunk, is because I think it's important to look at the whole picture of what this chapter is saying and not get too sucked into individual verses. Yeah, because hashtag context. And that's actually exactly why. Yep, exactly. Hashtag context. So that's what we're gonna kind of do here. So we're gonna look at 3 different views. We're gonna start with the Calvinist view of what this passage is saying. We will then move on to the Arminian view, and then we will also take a look at the Catholic view, and then we'll kind of discuss it. So when I go through, first of all, turn your light orange if you know what I'm talking about when I say Calvinist or Arminian, so I kind of know where we're all at. Cool. Okay, thank you. That helps. So we will define what we mean by these. Those of you who have an opinion, because I know many of you do, glances sideways at SB Leader. When I explain the school of theology that you're from, whether that be Calvinist, Arminian, Catholic, whatever, if I make a mistake or explain it in a way that seems to make it into a straw man, which is a weaker argument than it really is, please correct me. Please turn your light orange, and feel free to explain it better. That is not my intent. I obviously have opinions on this, but I always want to make sure I'm trying to explain all the sides as best I can. So feel free to correct me. I will not be offended. All right. So the first view, the Calvinist view of the passage. Most popular commentaries that you pick up to read on this passage will likely take a Calvinist view of this. So, what is Calvinism? Calvinism is a theological system. It comes out of the Reformation. It kind of comes down from a guy named John Calvin. He was one of the guys who came after Luther and tried to clarify some of the stuff that Luther said. Luther, of course, being the one who started the Protestant Reformation and broke away from the Catholic Church. We won't go all the way into church history here, but that's where this movement has its roots. One could argue that Calvin didn't systematize it quite to the point of the tulip. Tulip being the thing that is usually associated with Calvinism. Tulip is an acronym that has the 5 points of Calvinism. Stands for? Anybody know what it stands for?
I want to go through all 5.
Yeah, go through all 5.
Whoa!
First one is total depravity, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm working off of several years back college information. Total depravity. Oh, of course, the U's the one that's going to get me.
Go ahead, Dodge.
I'm looking it up right now. Is that okay?
Unconditional.
Nope, that's cheating.
That's cheating.
All right.
Let me go to the L. Limited atonement. The L is the tricky one. P is the
Ella joined
not
your channel.
perseverance. What's the word?
That was
Some-
the word.
Is it perseverance of the saints?
Yeah.
Okay.